Hi everybody, Scrappy Kathy here with my process video as part of the How to Kill a Kit with Style group. It's the last How to Kill a Kit with Style layout that I will do this month. I've done a few others and I'll give you a quick share of those when I'm done with this. For this process video, since I do things live, I really didn't want you to suffer through my distressing of all of these things. So I'll explain to you a little bit about the thought process beforehand, and then I'll show you what I did, and then we'll finish that part and can go on to the fun part. You may recognize this page of paper from Paige Evans' Horizon collection for Pink Paisley. And it started out, I had one sheet of paper in my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit, and then I went through and I had gotten 2 sheets of that paper. I actually used one from a paper pad for a different layout a while back. But for this one, I'd actually seen someone do something like this on Pinterest. I think it might have been with the Vicki Boutin Color Kaleidoscope Sunray, but I thought I'd do it with this one. I had started with 2 sheets of paper. One, I just cut all of the sun rays out, and I took each of those individual sun rays and distressed them with my handy Tim Holtz Ranger distressing tool, and then popped them up, curled them back, and I may or may not tuck some embellishments in. We'll see where we go. I am celebrating today the news that my granddaughter is in remission from leukemia. She's going to continue to undergo chemo for 6 more months just to be sure. But this was a photo, it's a filter of a photo that was taken at her 5th grade graduation last week. And I love it. It's the only selfie of the 2 of us that we've taken in a while. So I liked that. So let me do the distressing part and kind of tell you as I'm going along. I'm not going to distress right over the layout because the distressing crumbs will get all in there. I guess that's some added texture. The idea that I had was, I don't know if you notice on here at each of these sun rays, you can see it on this one, changes pattern twice. So each sun ray has 3 different patterns. There's one up close to the pointy end right here, and that one changes in what ends up being kind of a circular pattern around there. So I thought I would highlight at least that one with sequins in the matching colors so that there'd be just a little bit of sparkle kind of going around in that circle. What I don't know is whether I'm going to do that. My photo is going to cover up some of that. Okay, so here, let me switch to this right now. Let me turn this other light on. That might help. I'm curling back the edges. There's a nice yellow floral on white pattern which contrasts nicely to the bright colors here. So if it turns up and shows I might tear an edge, I've actually torn some corners off just to make it kind of look more distressed. Now here's what I'm talking about doing. I'm enabling the, I've got my handy roll of foam tape that I love using for everything. What I'm doing here is I'll stick a bit down the center and kind of continue it here. It's enough to make it stick, and I'm fine with the kind of wavy gravy look there. It'll normally, when I pop things up, I want to make sure they're popped up evenly. Let me do that. Let's bring this up a little closer. Again, it doesn't matter if I get it exactly over the other, because what I want the other pattern, the pattern on the base page, to show through. So let me go back and do another. Scraps over there. Let's do another one. Again, moving that out of the way. The outer change in pattern that you can see that occurs here between this big floral and this smaller floral, that pattern, if you were to highlight it, actually ends up in a square, whereas the other is circular. And so I thought it might be nice to highlight that too, but I'll decide that after I put the photo and the circular layer in. I don't want to overdo it. I really don't want to over embellish this, because the patterns on the paper and the colors, all of that is just so spectacular that I'd like for that to kind of stand out. Okay, so some more bending and tearing and distressing and folding and okay, let me kind of sweep these crumbs out of the way. Let's get the layout back over here, and we'll put this in here. I wondered if I'd do it evenly enough that my last, that there be room for my last piece of paper. I have been known to do things like this a little bit unevenly in the past. And again, if you know me, you know that probably doesn't bother me a whole lot. I find ways to get around it. Okay, here we go with this one. Kind of snuggling it in there, and that's done. Now, here's another thought process that I've gone through. I kind of like and plan to encourage this pointing up there. I just think that adds an interesting dimension to it. So what I'd like to do is put my photo, mount my photo cluster separate from it. The idea I have, since I have the ombre pink, which is the flip side, the B side of this beautiful star pattern, which I love, but which doesn't necessarily go with this. It's from the same collection, but I think this works better. It works nicely with the skin tones in the filtered photos. So I thought, since that pink is kind of representative of this, I thought I'd let that pink exist kind of on its own and maybe be the base for the title. So right now I think I'm going to go ahead and mount this as we discussed, kind of so the photo's halfway there, and so that this piece doesn't hang over the edge. If it does, I can just bend it like I've done on the other distressed edges. Okay, now before I embellish, I thought I'd go with an idea for the title. I thought this Yes Please, and all of these things are from my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit. And what I love when I do kit kill projects, I love finishing a sticker sheet. This is an old Amy Tangerine sticker set from a couple collections ago. I thought I would do this and then have the word remission kind of up here. Remission, yes please, being the title. So I'm going to put the yes please on first. It's just a very exciting day when you get that kind of news. We had news that one of the markers was there for remission, but there was with some of the lab tests that could be analyzed quickly. But then there was another one that we had to wait until today that was a much more a deep dive sweep. Okay, so I'm going to go here. I'll arrange it this way. Okay, and again, this isn't meant to stick that down. I'm going to, after this, kind of see where it pops up and let it pop up, because that gives it some shadow and dimension underneath. I really like that. You can kind of see it right there. And then I'll apply some liquid glue. In fact, I may do that right now. The liquid glue will actually keep it on there while still allowing some it to raise and provide some dimension in others. So let me do, there's a couple places on the please. Let me do one place on the yes. Okay, that works. Okay, now what I've chosen for remission is a completely different font. These little alphas were in a kit that I got while I was at the Rediscover Your Stash Secret Not Secret Kit Club Spring Retreat in Oak Harbor, Ohio. And I said all of that from heart by heart, and it was right. So remission starts with R. We'll go with that. And I'm going to put it right there. So everything that's in my April or my May and June kit for How to Kill a Kit with Style was something I got at that retreat. And I got 2 kits from Christina Sorge at Secret Not Secret Kit Club. And then I got a kit that was my Secret Sister gift from Sharon Barrickman. Trying to get that eye on there straight, and when I pulled it up, it's crooked. And then there were other items that I either bought at the store on site at the retreat, or that were on the freebie table, or that were given as part of challenges that occurred during the retreat. So as you can imagine, it's something of a mixed bag, although in my kits, one of my kits was based on Whimsical, Paige Evans' Whimsical collection, and my Secret Sister kit was based on Horizon, which is where this paper came from. Let me put that over. I think I'm done with the glue. So now I'm going to go through, anyway, and my third kit was based on, I want to say, a combination of, well, several different designers in nice colors and colors that Christina knew I'd love. I'm thinking of this. And lots of surprise elements, kind of custom selected elements, things that weren't cookie cutter kit bits, if you know what I mean. So I love cookie cutter kit bits when it's a collection that I love, and I don't have a problem with that. Let me cut this. What I'm doing now are using chipboard embellishments. I think the chipboard has a texture that will stand up better to all of this change in elevation that's occurring on the top of this layout, rather than stickers. I probably will use some stickers. Let me see where this might go. I might put it up here. That gives me a little of that blue, and that kind of ties in with the blue that's in the background of the photo, and there's some blue in the photo, so that kind of works out nicely. I love, for some reason, this two-toned leaf, and I think there's another two-toned leaf. So I'm going to rethink this butterfly and see if these two-toned leaves could be used here. I like that idea, and I like the idea of maybe doing them kind of one on top of the other. I'll do that there. I kind of do one of my signature things, and I don't know that I intended for it to be a signature thing, but it's something I do on nearly every layout, and I'll do it on this one, is to layer hearts so that one is over the other, and I may as well do that right now. I'm going to select this green. I may do it right here. Stick the green there and the pink there. I will hold this up and press those down so that I don't have to use liquid glue. I still want to use this butterfly somewhere, so maybe I'll have it peeking out of this little hole. And you know what's cool about that? If I insert it in there, I almost don't have to glue it. That kind of reinforces the color scheme that's going on there. I like another, oh, there's another leaf. I like this little, you get this in your view. I found a little hole right here where this blue and green dragonfly can go. Okay, that's glued in there. Where's something else that I could put in? Here's a bouquet of flowers, a couple flowers actually. Let me maybe have this coming out. What I like about it here is this green is the same as the samey tangerine green, so it kind of ties in nicely that way. I like when things work out. And it's got two colors of pink, including the bright pink that it's sitting on top of and this lighter pink which goes with that. Let me see if I can squeeze in this leaf. This leaf, this two-colored leaf, I think might be nice coming maybe out of right there. That looks good to me. Okay, and I think with that, I may be finished embellishing with pieces from the collection. And I may go try to do the sequin idea that I may finish some of this off camera if it takes a while. What I'm observing is that right here where this round thing occurs, there's not much showing. So let me, that ought to go quickly. I see this spot is purple. Let me kind of press that down a little bit. I'm gonna sprinkle a couple purple sequins. That's in the circular area. I'll do 3 there, and I've got 3 different purple sequins, which is good. I kind of didn't want them to be matchy-matchy. So let me do this one here. That one is actually matchy-matchy, but that first one, I thought it was a clear see-through one. Okay, can't put anything there or there. The next place that I can highlight is this kind of coral color, and I'm betting that I don't have, the closest thing I have to coral is a pink or an orange. So let me go with, I'll pull some of the pinks that are, this is a clear one so that the color underneath should come through. And I'll try to get the more coral pinks. Oh, that one's perfect. That worked great. And all my problems with matchy-matchy kind of go out the window when it takes place, the colors take priority. Okay, here's a coral. Are there any of the reds? I've got, these are Martha Stewart sequins. I could dig deeper into I'm gonna go with, I'll put these, I've got a day glow kind of coral. I'll do my 3 little dots. This works there, and I could maybe find another one of those. I've got kind of a brownish color there that would go better with the orange than with this coral. This is actually a damaged sequin, but I don't think that's going to matter. Okay, orange, now I've got plenty of. So let me get my 3 little dots there. I kind of like the way that's looking, and I also like that it isn't absolutely continuous all the way around. So this orange is a metallic, and this one is a redder orange. Okay, now let me put the orange and pink ones away and pull out yellow. I've kind of got 2 strips of yellow. One is more of a brownish yellow. The other is a bright lemon yellow. So let me go with, I'll use different colors of yellow. I'll use this darker yellow here, and I'll include the metallic there. And here's another dark, and I have a nice lemon yellow, and I have enough to go around for this next piece. And let me get let me see where that change occurs. There we go. Put a big blob of adhesive there, which wasn't my intention. just wasn't looking. When you're, I don't know, those of you who film, when you look to see how the filming, see what's being shown on the camera, sometimes you look away from what you're doing with your hands. Okay, so that goes around. I really don't think we have any more of those colors to do. And again, I haven't yet decided whether I'll do, I think there's this square line, and I could kind of get a few more colors of sequins in there. But I think I'm going to leave it as it is, let the pattern play, be as it is. I have this little distressed piece that says "Adventure Awaits," and it seems like it could go somewhere in this area. The color's right. How about this? Yes, let me do that. And what I'm going to do here is take a small pop dot and let that elevate it as it comes out from underneath that. Don't want to overlap that. I don't like the pop dot. I don't like it elevated, so let me get some glue or some tape, double-sided tape. There we go. It's a good sentiment. Adventure awaits now that she can actually see the light at the end of the tunnel on the whole chemotherapy thing. So, I think I'm going to call this one done. I may add some journaling about the date and the pronouncement of remission by her doctors. I kind of like that the little circle shows, but it's interrupted by the title in the photo. So I'm happy with that one. Let me quickly run through a couple of the other, or all the other layouts I did with that kit. This layout was done with a sheet from, gosh, I think that's, I don't know who that is. That might be, it Miss Sparkle City, maybe? Anyway, it's a sheet, and I had all of these papers, came from the giveaway table there, and I think this cut apart came from there, and I think this is a piece of the Horizon collection. So I did that page. It's kind of an oddball page. I was going with a banner sketch and a banner requirement for a certain challenge, and a sketch for another challenge, and I think the color purple for another. So this one was one that I did in a video for the Mercy Tiara Inspiration YouTube hop, and it's using all elements from my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit. These are pictures, and I've used that same photo there, but the original photo. This is the other side of that ombre paper, so you'll recognize a few things there. Going with a grid style for one challenge, and doing having fun with trying to fit a lot of photos on. This one is either the worst layout I've ever done or the best, and I love the different colors of orange in that mixed media background, and I like the blue. She has on an orange shirt that kind of looks like a mixed media t-shirt there. This is a photo of Ava when she got called back to the hospital because of a fever, and there were some really cute little knit hats with kind of hair-like fibers streaming down, and she's lost a lot of her hair, so she put that on and posed in a whimsical fashion in the face of all of this that was scaring the heck out of her parents and grandparents. She still found time to joke around and have fun. So these are from the Horizon collection. Several of the papers that were that I got at that retreat, and some flowers there. Didn't really do too much, just kind of did some layering back behind there. I like the mixed media, but if I had it to do again, or if I do it again, I may not have such busy papers over it. This one is one that I did this morning that was for today's load prompt. It was about sisters, and I have a photo here of me and my sister and my cousin who lived next door, who's like a sister, and this is that same cousin. This was taken, I think, 1953, maybe 1954. This is my cousin Susan, her daughter Amy, and her sister Jane, who was just an infant when this photo was taken. And some journaling about how we grew up next door and we were more like sisters than cousins. And I used a sketch or a design from the Scrap Squad scrap lifting group. And one of the parts of the load prompt was to do a mixed media background, and I did this one with a couple shades of Distress Oxides and a Vicky Bouton stencil that I got at a different retreat, and my Tim Holtz brushes. So I'm happy with that one. I really love this paper is from the Whimsical collection, but a lot of the embellishments are from Horizon. So those are my How to Kill a Kit with Style efforts for the month of May. I will do a kit share video with what's left, and I'll be using that for the month of June. And when I do that, I'm going to be primarily scrapping the photos from the retreat itself, where I got all these wonderful things. That was kind of what I was saving it for. And this month I didn't do any of it because there was so much going on with the family. Barrett got his high school uniform. Ava graduated from 5th grade. Barrett graduated from 8th grade. So we had all kinds of events to scrap, current events to scrap. So that's it. Scrappy Kathy signs off for now. See you next month.